Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, this is Screen Scene Guru coming at you with movie updates, television news, comic book news, all kinds of good stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe already. Tell your friends about new upcoming episodes as well. So without further ado, let's get into this. So this is a continuation of last night's episode. We've got some more X-Men cast announcements, very exciting news, as well as some more very juicy stories to cover. So let's begin. Put my trusty Magneto helmet to the side. So starting off, we've got notes from July 12th. This is a few days back. We've got horror movies don't have the staying power until Backrooms and Obsession, both very well received horror films. I've seen Backrooms, the Everything Must Go cut, and I really liked it. Haven't watched Obsession yet. I'm getting around to it. We do have Senator Lindsey Graham was pronounced dead at 71 years old. They actually had his sister sworn in to finish off his term in the state of Carolina, which I'm not sure if that's ever happened before. Interesting news. Michael has now made $1 billion, making it the highest grossing biopic film of all time. It has surpassed Oppenheimer, which is some very interesting stuff to hear. We've got after 12 weeks of release, the last biggest opening was Hunger Games Catching Fire, and that made $865.2 million. That was back in 2013, so that was the largest from Lionsgate Studio. So Michael now being the biggest with $1 billion. But it's interesting that the largest film that they had in their catalog was Catching Fire from 2013. So it made them quite a bit of money. Moana is shockingly has a small opening, only has $43 million to this live action Moana. Not a lot of people going out to see it, obviously. Some people are saying, why even do this live action reboot when the animation isn't that far off? We just got Moana 2. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson confirms on the red carpet there is going to be a Moana 3 animation. We've got Supergirl made $60 million already, which isn't too good considering where the DC Studios is at right now. Going into some more box office news, guys. Minions and Monsters, we got $43 million. That's one of the lowest openings of the Minions and Despicable Me franchises, so it is a bit concerning. Toy Story 5's already made $403.77 million. So that's a lot. We've got Young Washington at $13.77 million. The Invite at $5.7 million. Obsession is already cracked the $300 million mark. So pretty good for that. We've got Disclosure Day at $111 million. Backrooms at $191.4 million. And then we've got, of course, the tragic passing of Sam Neill. You guys might have seen on the news. They did a tribute memorial to him. Iconic actor from Jurassic Park. He's done a bunch of other stuff, but I know a lot of people remember him as Dr. Alan Grant. And he was tremendous all the way into his later years. The family had said that he beat cancer, but someone that was close to him was saying that he was battling with pneumonia before he died, so unfortunately it just sounds like he got sick. He was 78 years old, so almost 80, but still a really sad, tragic passing for the community that loves him, his family, of course, in Sydney, Australia. He will be missed. He will go down as a legend amongst actors. I'm sure all of his fellow cohorts are shocked and going through it right now. Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, they're all posting tribute videos of him, so that's really good. Jack Quaid apparently wants to star in a BioShock movie Apparently, that's one of his favorite video game franchises, and he said that he's up for the role. So that's really cool. We're not exactly sure what the role would be, if it's the main character or he's just someone that's going to be narrating the story. But Jack Quaid said he's up to do BioShock, and we know that there's a movie coming out from Netflix, so maybe he's attached already. We're not sure. Frances Conroy returns in American Horror Story Season 13 in September, so that's really cool. The mom from 6 Feet Under, if you guys are familiar with her. She's a great witch from Coven. Apparently, Ariana Grande can't make it for the new season of American Horror Story because of her tour that's going on right now. She made that public a few weeks back. So even though they did that big announcement that she would be part of the season, she's apparently backing out. Nancy Mace considering Senate run to replace Lindsey Graham's sudden death. Yeah, that actually didn't happen because they sworn in his sister. So this was from July 13th. So it's a little bit old news, but still relevant because she was talking about possibly running for his seat. And then they replaced him with his sister. A24 drops a Crystal Lake television series first trailer. I'll say it's a teaser because it was only 30 seconds. I'm guessing we're going to get more footage at Comic-Con for Crystal Lake from Peacock. I'm looking forward to this very much. Rolling Stones released his 25th studio album called Foreign Tongues. I wanted to talk about this because I've been listening to it. Really love the album. Can't wait for more people to check it out. I know not a lot of people like the sound of Rolling Stones, the blues with the rock, but I'm a big fan of it. Whimsical sound we haven't had in a long time. It's coming back. Excuse me. We've got horror icons. Movies are based around what is scary to the public at the time. So this is something Robert Murray Burnett was talking about on his show, Robservations. We're still facing a harsh comeback of the pandemic as well. So not a lot of people are going out to the theaters to see things right away. They're taking their time or waiting to see them digitally at home. So that's a big thing that is still happening. We've got Tom Cruise, Epic, The Digger. I talked about the trailer last night. You guys can see it now for yourselves. Coming out on October 2nd. So just in case you guys didn't know, October is going to be a big major release for a lot of films. They're saying Moana could lose Disney up to $125 million, which I don't really know why it could lose money when it just opened, it just premiered. But maybe it's because there isn't an audience for it. Dwayne Johnson's having a hard time getting people back to see him in theaters after Black Adam. And of course, what was the other film he did just a while back? The boxing movie. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it was Smashing Machine. I never saw it, but after Smashing Machine, Black Adam, they've had a hard time to get an audience back for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So going on from that topic, we've got Hotel Transylvania 5 is set to have a 2027 release. And then, after that, they're going to name it Motel Transylvania, which I'm not exactly sure why they're changing it from hotel to motel, but it says there's going to be one in 2027. That's the last Hotel Transylvania 5. And then in 2028, they're going to make Motel Transylvania, which I don't know why they're changing the name. It's still going to be the same thing, but now it looks like the daughter of Dracula is going to be running it instead of Dracula himself. So that's going to be kind of cool, I guess, for the animation people that love the franchise. Okay, so Crystal Lake is coming out on October 15th, in case you guys didn't hear that or see it in the trailer. Really love that they had Christy Miliani as the mom. And it looks like a couple more people are going to be in it as well. So yeah, I talked about South Carolina appointed Lindsey Graham's sister to finish his Senate term. And the president approved of this pick. which was kind of interesting on social media. He just approved it after it was made, of course. Super Mario Galaxy and Michael both are the first to make $1 billion in 2026. So that's pretty good. I need to check both those out. I mean, I've seen Super Mario Galaxy from my reviews and everything. Haven't seen Michael yet, but I'd like to have both of those because they're the first $1 billion films of 2026. Paramount is thinking of leaving California. This was a few days ago, guys, because of the Ellison's drama with the acquisition of Warner Brothers. We've got a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie in the works as well. This is happening. Of course, we'd really love it if Robert Englund would come back to reprise his role. Not sure if he will or not, or if they'll just reboot, recast. Carrie, TV series, the Michael Flanagan TV series is supposed to focus around other kids with psychic powers. So not just Carrie. If you guys read the Stephen King books, there was like 3 or 5 kids with different abilities, not just Carrie. So this would be a really cool, interesting way to add to the lore of the storytelling from Mike Flanagan over on Prime Video. Michael Wardren is doing a Nova movie. So if you guys didn't know, Michael Wardren, he's a writer from Rick and Morty who's worked for Marvel for the last few years. He did the Loki TV series, and then he wrote Doctor Strange 2. So not very good, but it was alright, made money. And now Michael Waldron is doing Nova for Marvel, which is pretty cool. I'm glad to see that character getting some love. A space character, the Nova Corps was shown off in Guardians of the Galaxy. Adam Driver teased as Magneto. I talked about this last night. We're not sure if this is true or not. Some reports are coming out saying he wants to be a villain, but we're not sure if Magneto will even appear in the first film. Patrick Stewart turned 86 years old, so shout out to the OG Professor X. Captain Price, actor Barry Solon, appeared in House of Dragon as the new Hand of the King, Sir Adrian Redfort. So that was really cool that we got big-time actors like Captain Price. We've also got the actor who's playing Link in the live-action Legend of Zelda showing up in Game of Thrones this week. So big-time actors being recognized in television first, of course, before their big movie debut. Okay, talk about that. Task and Mayor of Easttown are now crossing over. So if you guys are a big fan of Task and Mayor of Easttown, they're both going to be in one shared cinematic universe, which is very interesting for these crime-fighting shows. They've had Criminal Minds, Law and Order, all these other shows, and over the years they've tried to build them up to a bigger universe. And now we've got Task and Mayor of Easttown, which I haven't checked out either of those, but I've heard good things. Marvel is circulating 7 upcoming projects after Secret Wars. So I want to talk about this real quick. So the 7 supposed projects, I'll go over a list that Campia talked about, a few other YouTubers covered. Avengers. So of course we know Avengers is going to be a IP project going on past Secret Wars. We just don't know who the roster will be. Spider-Man 5. So we know we're getting Brand New Day at the end of July. They are going to make a Spider-Man 5 because it's a guaranteed moneymaker. Shang-Chi 2. I'm kind of curious about if this will happen or not, or if Shang-Chi will just become a character that appears in other people's projects like Deadpool. I'd like to see a Shang-Chi 2. It's just been a long time, like over 5 years since his first film. And I know he's going to be in Doomsday, but that's the same thing as using him in other people's projects. We've got X-Men movie confirmed. We know about that happening from Jake Schreier. Thunderbolts 2, which was confirmed recently. They are doing a Thunderbolts 2, which is very good. I like Thunderbolts, even though it didn't make a lot of money. Big fan of it. Blade, I'm very speculative if this will ever happen. I liken this situation with Blade to Shang-Chi 2. He may appear in other people's projects, but I don't know if he'll get a standalone. Midnight Suns as well. I'm not sure if Midnight Suns is ever going to happen. It sounds kind of like what Inhumans was like. Like they wanted to make Inhumans on the big screen, and it ended up becoming just a TV show that no one cared for. Just like Secret Invasion. So I'm kind of worried that Midnight Suns might not be a project to maybe focus on. Maybe need focus on something else. And then of course Black Panther 3 we know is already shooting. It's going to be the first film after Secret Wars. So I'm looking forward to Black Panther 3. They can't really do anything wrong with Black Panther. Besides that second film, which was kind of awry. Iranian drones apparently were seen in Cuba. Big concern for the global, strategic security efforts. Iranian drones in Cuba. Some people are citing. Steve Buscemi joins FX's Far Cry. This is a big announcement for him. I haven't seen him in a minute, so I'm very glad that he's still working. Introducing him into a show like Far Cry for FX, I think is going to be the next big hit. This is going to be kind of like Alien Earth was, but even bigger because it's a video game adaptation. And then, of course, I mentioned last night Bill Skarsgård was rumored to play not only Professor X, but they're also rumoring that he might be the #1 lead actor for Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street. I'd look more forward to that, Bill Skarsgård playing Freddy Krueger, than Professor X. That just makes more sense to me in the field of work he does. So we've got Conjuring recast. They've got Ed and Lorraine Warren with Garrett Waring and Amanda Fix, younger couple. I know they just recasted them in the last Conjuring, Last Rites. They had a younger couple play them, which I thought they were going to keep those actors and actresses, but nope. They recasted them again with other younger people to play. I guess this is going to be the Conjuring First Communion or First Case, I guess, which is funny because the last one was the Last Rites. But I'm looking forward to this. If they can bring back James Wan to do more of the Conjuring stuff, I feel like it's kind of lost its pizzazz since James Wan stepped back away from it, just like Insidious lost the juice. I'm looking forward to this new one that's coming out, but I'm kind of wishing he'd come back. Rumor that Blue Beetle will be in Man of Tomorrow. I'm hoping this is true because I'm a big fan of Xolo Maridueña. I loved his performance in Blue Beetle. I like that film a lot. I even feel like it could fit in with the new DCU if James Gunn approves it. Tickets on sale for The End of Oak Street already. It's out on August 14th. I'm looking forward to this as well. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's basically like a street, a neighborhood community is teleported through time back to Jurassic era, and a family has to fight to survive. It looks very good. Anne Hathaway, trying to remember who's the other, Ian McGregor. So big cast. DC Studios says it's too expensive to go to Comic-Con this year, which kind of makes sense. I mean, their projects as of late haven't really been doing too well, haven't been making a lot of money, and it is a big, expensive endeavor to go to these Comic-Con events. I'm not shocked to hear this, but I'm also thinking HBO Max is going to have a panel. So they're going to talk about Lanterns, of course. They're going to talk about House of Dragon, The Pit, other shows from Max. It's just DC won't have a full-on panel. So I'd be interested to see if they talk about Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd series as well. I'm not sure if they'll have anything ready for that. They announced that they're not going to talk about Man of Tomorrow yet. There's not enough stuff done yet for Man of Tomorrow. But maybe Clayface, maybe something else. Dr. Phil is getting early access to the latest files of the UAPs. I kind of feel like this is a marketing stunt to get famous celebrities involved in the topic of UAPs and unexplainable phenomenon. I wish they'd gotten someone a little bit more on the medium side than on the far right side of things, but I'm just happy that this is getting covered more people are aware of it. people that are following Dr. Phil are now on the same page as the ufologists around the globe. So I can't ask for much more than that. Green orbs were seen and studied coming around nuclear facilities. Hundreds of studies and Apollo mission transcripts were released talking about these ships as well. So it's not just, the average fisherman who's too drunk to fish talking about this. This is government officials. This is transcripts from government archives coming out now, and you can't really debate this stuff that they're putting out. It's factual. We've yet to get the hardcore evidence, but it is probably coming very soon with this scientific panel being made. Avi Loeb reporting directly to the White House. 5 cities have nuclear materials held within them. 5 major cities, and they say all of these cities have a lot of UAP occurrences going on around them. We've also got the 4th tranche of documents was shown to the public as well. A lot of it was, flare, black and white video, basically infrared heat sensing video. So not a lot of high quality frames like 4K, but we're still getting data. What's going on? We got Dr. Phil goes on the News Nation, says publicly that we've been lied to for 79 years. So that's a big, major statement. And then the government has hidden technology, the metallurgy that these craft are comprised of. He does kind of go into the fact that there is a reverse engineered program. He doesn't out anyone specifically, but he does acknowledge it. That they couldn't have been doing this research for so long and not have gotten ahead at some point. El Paso airspace was shut down back in February for about a day or two. They tried to say it was cartel drones, but now they're trying to say Eric Burleson was there for a psionic test. They were trying to summon these craft down to an Air Force base. Apparently they were very successful. They didn't want pilots, the aviation around the area of El Paso to see this, so they shut down the airspace, citing it was cartel drones. But apparently psionics were used. So that's very interesting that several people in Congress were there to witness this craft being brought down. We're not sure if there were any pictures or video of this, or if any beings came out of the craft. It sounded like a craft may have hovered above the ground, might not have actually landed, but it was close enough for them to see it and to factually prove it happened. Tulsi Gabbard is being cited for setting up the DIG. This was the Directors Initiative Group. The teams were sent off to investigate several things, one of them being UAPs. They were already underfunded, but Eric Burleson was brought in, and a group that he has working for him, like David Grush, other whistleblowers like Luis Elizondo, were able to get funding apparently started back up for the dig. They knew about a landing on a base that happened, several orbs flying around a helicopter as they were searching for the craft, apparently. They know about this. So that's major stories. The current information seems to point in the direction that Arrow and ODNI were aware of the phenomenon. It's real. They already have the technology and methods to prove and track it. So, pretty sophisticated technology. They're able to record and lure these objects as well. So, I would say that would take quite a bit of skill to be able to lure these ships down, but apparently these people are able to do it. Going on from typical movie news, everything like that, we've got some skeleton news. Interesting T-Rex bone set was sold recently for $50 million. This is making it the most expensive fossil ever sold. So that's really cool. T-Rex skeleton. I believe it was the full assembled skeleton, not just the head or a part of it. 50 million. Pretty big. We've got Steve Perry. Is 77 years old, and Rolling Stones is still making music. Amazing. So on top of that, we've got David Grush calls out the Vatican recently. He said it's about questions about religious texts, and what they really mean. Throughout time, mankind has destroyed environments, resources, and each other over lineage, bloodlines, trying to exterminate one over the other. So he believes this is kind of connected to the phenomenon. He believes that whenever we're at war, whenever there's a major culling of a bloodline, that these things are there to interact with us. Perhaps they're guiding us in a way. He's not exactly sure. It is very fascinating that they talked about how whenever genocides are happening, these beings come down and interact with us. A huge factor that the church and the government have hidden for decades, hundreds of years, is that those communications with the beings may share more, or those that are communicating with the beings may share more alien DNA. So they may be hybrids. I'm not exactly sure if I want to promote that theory or not. I believe in it, but I don't know if I want to call out people for being hybrids because they're communicating with the phenomena. I think everyone can communicate with the phenomena. It may be easier for hybrids, or it may be simpler, but I don't want to straight out call people hybrid. I think that's a derogatory term. Not very good. We've also got more people with Cherokee blood. They're confirming from Luis Elizondo in his book. Have a higher rate of experiences. They're also inclined to go towards more government work. Essentially, they're a government mystery solving team, the people that have Cherokee blood, which is very fascinating to me. I didn't think that would be a thing, but Native Americans and government have had a very tumultuous relationship since the founding of the country. We used a lot of them during our wars, our wartime, World War II. We used the Indians to communicate secret messages back and forth to prevent the Germans from spying on us. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that is going to be coming out with disclosure about the phenomena based on their genetic lineage. So yeah, a lot of them were just conscripted into the military, whether they liked it or not. Very fascinating. The Mary and Jesus bloodline is being talked about. Their Da Vinci codes, because they do believe that Jesus may have survived the crucifixion because he wasn't entirely human. This is a very controversial topic for people to cover, especially if they're very religious. But it is very interesting that is coming around and making the rounds. Okay, let's see. 12 states have launched a lawsuit to block Paramount and Warner Brothers merger. So that is part of the ongoing struggle with Paramount. 12 states now have officially blocked it with a lawsuit. HBO will have a panel at Comic-Con, like I said. Looking forward to that very much. The Jimmy Olsen TV series with Gorilla Grodd perhaps maybe talked about, like I said. Batman Part 2 was delayed, guys, till 2028, unfortunately. I wasn't very surprised by this announcement. I was kind of expecting it, because they haven't even shot the film yet, and we were expecting it to be dropped in 6 months. Come on. A movie like The Batman needs to be shot for at least a year and a half. So I expected this delay to happen, but a lot of people were upset and, of course, saddened by the news. But unfortunately, Batman Part 2 delayed till 2028. I Play Rocky trailer is out now. You guys can check it out. Tremendous performance. I think this is going to be a Best Picture film for the year. Alvin and the Chipmunks is coming back in 2028 as well. There's going to be an AI version of the Chipmunks, apparently. They're going to make their first debut on social media before the movie comes out, I guess marketing the movie. But I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go down. Alvin and the Chipmunks, after the last couple movies weren't that financially successful. We'll see how it works out. Avengers Doomsday rumored to have a Comic-Con trailer that is 2 minutes long. So I'm looking forward to that. We got a new poster for Spaceballs, a new one, which is them combing the desert. I loved it. J.D. Vance, Vice President, talks to Joe Rogan, and he talks about how, I guess, he doesn't really know if the phenomenon is real or not. He thinks they're demons. A lot of the same stuff we've heard before from him. Apparently, J.D. Vance has talked to David Grush, and he doesn't fully believe his story. He needs to check it out or vet it. So I'm not sure how that works. We also got Vice President is not interested in the topic as of immediately. So he talked about things in your daily life that you put off, and he said that the topic of the phenomenon is like that, something you can tackle another day. He'd rather deal with the negotiations with the Iranians, which I don't think he's doing that very well either, but at least he's doing something. But it's very interesting. And then when he was questioned by Joe Rogan about the most common basic UFO cases or these abduction cases, he had no idea what Joe Rogan was talking about. So Rogan was very turned off by that. The fact that he tries to talk about things he has no idea about. That's concerning. Real quick, I want to get to the topic of the video before I sign off, because I am a little bit over 30 minutes. I'm trying to make it short form content. We got the first look at Children of Blood and Bone coming out January 15th, 2027. The images for it make it look very much like Black Panther, Wakanda. Looking forward to this. Children of Blood and Bone. Haven't read the book series yet, but I'll definitely check it out. The Devil's Mouth releases on Prime July 29th. This is a new shark movie, The Devil's Mouth. If you haven't checked out the trailer for it, check it out. Lioness Season 3 dropped a trailer. It's coming out August 2nd. Some pretty good stuff from Zoe Saldana. Taylor Sheridan. One of my favorite Taylor Sheridan shows is Lioness. A discussion on the release of engineered tech needs to happen with more famous people like Dr. Phil. So they've addressed that as well. The idea that there needs to be an intelligence judgment of what can be released. So that has yet to happen as well. An intelligence judgment from someone official. I'm guessing Central Intelligence Agency or someone in the White House. Perhaps the president could make an intelligence judgment on what could be released. Not sure how many people would agree with that or disagree with it, but it seems to be that's already happening with the tranches being released. Dr. Phil talks to Jesse, who talks about anti-gravity research that's been going on since the late 1950s. They also talk to Bryce Zabel. I talked about him in my last video. Very interesting guy. Talks about unknown secret science, secret physics. So that's a big name to look into, Bryce Zabel. So apparently they also talked about how this new UAP council, is it going to be like the Collins report, or is it going to be a real-led government disclosure plan? Avi Loeb said the government science panel on UAP, he wants the truth out there. If there's new physics to be discussed, he says it will only gather, or it will only help us with what we already know. So there was a comment the other day from someone in the UAP Council saying that new physics aren't going to be talked about, that taboo alien bodies and craft from second-hand sources aren't going to be mentioned. That story kind of has been debunked by Avi. Avi said if there's new physics introduced, it will add to what we already know. And of course, Dr. Stephen Greer went on News Nation with Dr. Phil, and he talked about Lockheed Skunk Works having the Tic Tac. It's been a reverse engineered craft since the 1940s, so that's a big thing. The materials have been previously handled. Off-world pieces have been given to these private companies, so they don't have to disclose that they have them. So that's a big thing. Apparently they said ET's come home to stay, so that's a major topic as well. And then we've got some good news for physical media lovers. I know we had a very sad last couple of weeks hearing that PlayStation is going to be pulling out in 2028 of physical players. Well, now we've got a little bit of hope, light at the end of the tunnel. Xbox will continue to put disc players in the newest product, the Helix. Now, I haven't really done a lot of deep diving into the Helix, but apparently it's going to be costing a little bit more than the PS5. But it will come with a disc player, even though PlayStation is moving away from the technology. They've discovered a new exoplanet, GJ3378b, or Super Earth, which is 25 light years from Earth. Astronomers discover, which is pretty cool. It is orbiting a red dwarf star, but it is in the Goldilocks zone, so they believe it has the right atmosphere for water and life to exist. However, they say it is extremely close to the red dwarf star, which is a danger for flare-ups. So they said because it's so close, the red dwarf could flare up and it could strip the atmosphere. Very concerning stuff. And that the solar winds could easily prevent life from developing on the planet. They're not sure if life's already developed there. Early reviews for the Odyssey say it's non-linear storytelling, so it's kind of broken up into chunks. Some are calling it a familiar move for Christopher Nolan. Benny Safdie is wild in his performance, people are saying, I guess, as Agamemnon. He looks like he's a big, tough guy, but then once he takes his helmet off, he's kind of a big softie. So that is interesting that people are talking about that. Benny Safdie's probably a good friend of Nolan. That's why he got the role. So real quick, Ryan Hurst has dropped out of God of War, apparently due to an injury on set. Now we're waiting to hear back from Amazon, Sony, who the hell they're going to get to play Kratos now that Ryan Hurst is out. I was a big fan of his choices, or a big fan of that choice for the casting. Loved him in Sons of Anarchy, but unfortunately it sounds like we're going to get a new Kratos. Who do you think it could be? I'm wondering myself. Then we've got a mutant creature was discovered in Seattle called Jimothy. It's already become a local celebrity. Some people believe it's just a raccoon with a disfigured spine. But it is very interesting. A new cryptid on the map. Jimothy. Check him out in Seattle if you guys are local. Going on from there. Okay, so I really want to talk about this topic real quick before I go off from the channel. G.I. Joe movie in the works. A new one. With Danny McBride. Not only writing, but he's directing as well. Now, this is a very interesting topic because Danny McBride, I'm a big fan of his. Righteous Gemstones, other things. His Highness, or Your Highness, was alright. I liked it. But he wrote the Halloween trilogy, which I only watched the first one. I didn't watch the second or third because I heard they were just terrible. And then, of course, he wrote the Exorcist Believer, which wasn't that great either. So he's had a bit of a hard go in the writing department. But this will be his director debut for G.I. Joe. I wonder how he'll take it, how he'll make it work. But yeah, very interesting stuff from Danny McBride. Patrick Wilson, like I said, rumored to play Charles. Not sure if he's going to get the role, but I'd like it if he did. On Capitol Hill, a forum on UAPs was held. It talked about Our oceans may hold more secrets inside them. USOs emerged from the oceans. So we know about this, underwater bases. People that have covered the topic for years are well aware, maybe not the general public knows. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Then we got Dr. Stephen Greer and UAP USC Science Advisory Council Avi Loeb talked on News Nation, which is good. I think they need to talk more often. It seems like Avi Loeb knows somewhat what is going on, but he's not aware of the clandestine secret access programs like Stephen Greer is more familiar with, the reverse engineered programs. So yeah, all of that stuff. Greer does need to keep his ear to the channel, keep his voice heard. Congresswoman Luna is creating a list of people that can come forward with testimony to Congress without facing backlash. She says this group will have immunity from any kind of crimes or any kind of involvement in these programs. So I feel kind of on the fence about this. I feel like they maybe should be held accountable to some degree, especially if people have lost their lives in these programs or technology has been grossly misused. But we'll have to see where the cards lie. Adam Driver, we heard, may not play Mr. Magneto. He may be playing Mr. Sinister. Not sure yet. We'll have to wait and see. Cooper Hoffman, said to be a top Marvel choice for Cyclops, which is very interesting because Cooper Hoffman, son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, I believe, he's been in a few things. He's been in like The Long Walk and a few others, but interesting to see him as a Cyclops would be a very interesting role, as well as Kaylee Spaney as Rogue, which I thought that was very fascinating because she's still got another Alien film to film, and she's doing Elden Ring for A24. So Kaylee Spaney is just kicking ass right now. I've liked her since she was in Pacific Rim 2. Donnie Yen confirms that filming has wrapped for the John Wick spin-off Kane. So his film is done. It's wrapped. It's now just getting editing shots done and the final finishing touches. But I'm really looking forward to Donnie Yen in his John Wick spin-off Kane. I've heard good things about that Furious movie, but I haven't checked it out yet. Some people are saying it's not as good as The Raid, so I'm waiting for things like The Raid to come back around. Netflix paid $587 million to Ben Affleck's AI startup company. So Ben Affleck is getting paid through Netflix for his AI startup. Very interesting stuff. We've got Insomniac's Wolverine game. We'll have Jean Grey. They're going to have Sabretooth. And now it's been confirmed Lady Deathstrike will also be in the game. I'm just loving this. Can't wait to check it out. Bradley Cooper may be replacing Chris Hemsworth in the G.I. Joe movie as well. So there's some developments going on there. We've got the idea we have to love Eric Burleson, Tim Burchett, and Luna. Ufologists must follow every word of theirs. Some people are pushing back on that. They have done a lot for disclosure, for bringing the topic up. But I don't know if you need to necessarily believe in everything they say. Their work is to benefit not just the Republicans or Democrats, but for all mankind. So that is a nice little topic there. Peter Skafish is on this science panel with Avi Loeb, and he talks about how the UAP Council will not be like the Condon Report. It will be, they're not going to gaslight the American people by saying there's nothing there. We have come forward and saying there is real evidence to be studied. Avi said, as part of their meetings, so I've already discussed this, that they won't bring up hearsay or other people's testimony because there's no way of fact-checking it. So instead of bringing up stories about, I've heard people have had aliens in a bunker or they've been working on ships, if they can't bring it in front of the science committee or the science council to show it off. They're not going to discuss it. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Sydney Sweeney, her Sleepy Hollow project is moving forward with Beer directing. I guess Beer wrote an adaptation of Sleepy Hollow. They're now calling it just Hollow. So that's happening for Sydney Sweeney. Looking forward to that. And the fact that new physics will build upon what we already know. That's good. That sounds like a very good statement from Avi. They've also sent out 25 FOIA requests, so Freedom of Information Acts, 25 of them, which is a nice number to start off with. I know a lot of people that have sent it a lot more and have only gotten a little bit of information back from the government, so I'm not sure how much they're hoping they're going to get out of that. But we got the Cliff Booth film coming out this year from Netflix. It's already played at the Venice Film Festival, so that's a major update. We got Jennifer's Body 2 is happening with not just Megan Fox, but Amanda Seyfried is coming back as well. So after years of hiatus, Jennifer's Body 2 is happening. And she kind of confirmed that earlier in the year when she released her lingerie clothing line. And the director was speaking with her, and she said she's coming back, and the director didn't know what she was talking about. Well, it's happening. Blade Runner TV series, first look is going to be shown off at San Diego Comic-Con. So that might be something to check out. I'm not a big fan of the Blade Runner movies. I know they're like kind of a, one of these sci-fi topics that it was never big, never huge, but it was always talked about. So we'll see if this TV series does well. The pilot episode for the X-Files is also supposedly done. Ryan Coogler shot it in 65mm. It was done by the DP Ottoman Dallaria. So the DP from Sinners shot the episode. And apparently Ryan Coogler wants this to be a feature film dropped on Hulu, even though the series hasn't even been greenlit by Disney yet. So this is kind of concerning. He thinks it's so good that he wants it to be a motion picture dropped on Hulu. X-Files. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, the X-Files movies that they've released in the past haven't done that well. But as a start-alone, just an X-Files movie, interesting topic. Especially when this was thought of as being a series, but now he thinks it's so good it should be a movie. Rumor that a very young X-Men is what Marvel is planning for its first outing. So, like in their 20s. Older characters would be in their 30s or 40s. No one past 55. So that's very interesting. I would think the Professor should be like 55, but they're saying that they want Professor and Magneto in their early to 40s. So that makes sense. And then everyone else, we've already know Sadie Sink is in her 20s. They're probably going to cast around that. So yeah, very interesting topics coming up for media lovers. If you enjoyed the channel, be sure to like and subscribe for future videos. I will be coming at you with more movie reviews, television, gaming, all kinds of good updates. But until next time, guys, this is me signing off. Have a good day and stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next one of my videos. Bye bye.